Hello and welcome to the GrapeSEED Official Podcast. Our art director, Broose Johnson, is back. I had him on a little bit ago to talk about some GrapeSEED stuff, namely the background of a lot of the GrapeSEED characters, but I also had some burning questions about Little Seed, so he's back here to share some of the tidbits about those as well. So welcome back to the show, Broose.
Thank you so much, Adam. I'm honored that you would invite me back again. Fantastic.
Little Seed is our newer program for 3-year-old children, and a lot of teachers are really excited about it around the world. Now, you've been involved with the design of a lot of the characters, so can you kind of walk us through how some of the characters were designed, just the general initial plans for Little Seed, how that went?
I mentioned when we had talked before, I talked about how I kind of came into GrapeSEED after it was already rolling. And part of my job, part of my directive was to see if we couldn't get it to feel a little more unified. And we used the GrapeSEED Friends and Marvin and Johnny Bear to help do that, to try to, so the kids were seeing some similar characters time and again. And as years have gone by, you see them more and more in stories and in songs and stuff. And so that's happened. That's been very good. But the wonderful thing about Little Seed is that we started that way. By this point, we'd been doing this for a few years, we being myself and the art team. Animation, by art team, I mean animation, illustrators, 2D animators, everybody. We've been doing this for a while. And so we really felt like we could start running with this. And so wonderfully, the curriculum team got a hold of us, and we had a big meeting down in Florida where Dr. Daniel Howard, who was the primary motivator and primary writer for all things GrapeSEED and Little Seed at the time, had us down. We had a big meeting, and we talked about what I thought was just a genius idea of his. Because I was thinking, what are we going to teach preschoolers? Kindergartners have got their colors and their numbers and that kind of stuff, but preschoolers, what is it? And the idea as it was pitched to us is that one of the big issues is that us as human beings are exposed to all sorts of sounds. And those sounds that we aren't exposed to a lot have an issue later on of really hearing those sounds and being able to replicate those sounds. And what one of the main focuses of Little Seed will be to introduce and support these sounds. And frankly, even if the kids don't necessarily understand every word that they're singing, if they're singing Dee Dee the Dancing Dinosaur, whether they understand what dancing dinosaur is, they will at some point, but whether they realize it or not, they're going to hopefully love the melody and be singing a lot of D sounds. And that's going to make it into their head so that a D sound is something in their repertoire of sounds that they have to use. And so let's create this cast of characters. This is Dr. Howard talking. He says we've got 32 sounds that we want to have characters representing. So let's start with the first sound. And so I think it was the letter D, honestly. So how about a D? And of course we all said, well, dinosaur would be cool. Oh yeah. Well, how about this and that? And we said, and we finally came up with Daisy the Dancing Dinosaur. So, oh, cool, Daisy. So he wrote it up on a whiteboard, and we just went down through all the sounds and tried to come up with characters for each sound. And they said it's interesting because, for example, the name Cowboy Kirk. We said, well, is that going to be a little confusing? He says, no, because we're not unlike a normal alphabet. This isn't about the letter C or the letter K. It's about the K sound. And in this case, it's Cowboy Kirk. Cowboy Kirk. And the fact that these begin with different letters supports the idea that it's about the sound. It's not about the letter of the alphabet. And so we have several characters to represent different versions of a soft A sound, for example. And several, because these sounds are not merely replications of the letter of the alphabet. So we kind of had to get that out of our heads. Stop thinking about the alphabet and thinking about sounds. So we as an art department and as a curriculum department got to kind of design these characters together. And so the curriculum department disappeared. They did their magic for a little while. We were working on some GrapeSEED stuff, and they came back with their characters more or less defined, and we took a look at them. And then I divided up, like I said, there were 32 characters. So we divided up, I got a third of the characters to design. Dan Gracie, who's our senior illustrator, got a third of them to design. And a friend of mine named Eddie Pittman, who was working with us a lot at the time, he was one of my buddies from Disney, he took another third of them. And so we would all at home do character designs for all of the different characters, and then we'd send them to each other for notes. Then when we thought we had something that we liked, I compiled them all, and we had a big meeting with the bosses. I think we were in Santa Monica. We were here in the States. We pinned them all on the wall, and everybody made notes about them. Most of them, actually, there weren't a lot of notes. Most of the notes were about how to use these characters in the future. Those drawings that we pinned up on the walls, if they open up, I believe if they open up one of the books, I think it's the book. Does it have a round edge to it, or it looks like it has a round edge? I don't know what they call the book, but the first image in there that has the character's name, Lily Lobster or something. Those are the we call those the portraits. Those are the original drawings.
Goodbye, my friends, goodbye. I'm sad to say goodbye. It was a good day, but now I will say goodbye, my friends, goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.